Hey, I'm Big Jeff from Big Jeff Online. I started all this out of the trunk of my car in Miami, Florida, selling security cameras and other things, and it grew into car audio, which has always been my passion. Always been my passion. Get bigger and bigger and bigger. Hey, it's Big Jeff coming to you again with another unboxing. Talking about Black Diamond here. Man, it's been a great brand. It is inexpensive, but has some good quality traits. Let's talk about the DIA-D2. There is a D2P, which we'll talk about in another video, and that's a phenolic. This one without the P is the titanium. Of course, this is a 2-inch bolt-on driver, and let's open her up. So first thing I like on this is the styrofoam packing. There are a lot of drivers these days that don't come with that, and they come to you sometimes a little messed up, so I'm glad they did a little extra for that. There is a manual, and then you can see styrofoam at the bottom. I'm gonna push this off to the side. Let's pull this off and take a look. It's pretty heavy. What is a driver compared to a tweeter? So it's all about frequency range. This is gonna be more vocals. A lot of guys are doing these, and then a combination of some tweeters, but I've seen so many vehicles done with just drivers and big horns. Why do you need the horn? Well, this does scream, but it's like an instrument. The horn actually creates, and I don't want anybody to kill me on here because I'm not 100%, but it basically directs the direction of the sound. And doing a short horn or big horn, think of it like a port on a subwoofer box, right? It changes the tone. So this is a bolt-on style. So there's horns out there that are black, red, all types of colors. I've seen people spray them. I've even seen them wrap them, and they have some short stubby ones and some really long ones. The other thing too, notice up top there is a screen here. Why is that important? Well, this whole thing, and it's crazy, if you were to take this cover off, it's just a diaphragm, and if sand, dirt, whatever gets down in the hole, it'll get in the diaphragm and pretty much destroy it. So this is a really good quality trait. I have seen some that didn't have that, and I'm not sure why, but as you can see, it bolts on. The other thing I want to look at is the terminals are nice. They obviously it's not real gold, it's just a plating, but they're push style, and they're pretty tight. I would say you could get in there 16 gauge for sure. I wouldn't do anything less, definitely not 18 on this anyway, but I love the logo. Now, most time you're not going to display that, but you might have some installs that do the raised Black Diamond logo with the name. Here's something though that I want everybody to be open-minded about. This does not come with a bass blocker, or also called a capacitor. You're gonna have to get one of those, or a lot of people are using like a DSP or a crossover and a separate amplifier, or at least amplifier channels to adjust these, because you got to get it crossed over. We can't just play bass to this. It's a higher frequency, which we'll go over in the manual. So very important to either put a bass block. If you don't, you're gonna blow this thing up, and it's just a waste of everybody's time. Get a bass blocker. You can usually get a pair of them. I know we sell different ones for 10 bucks. You can get them anywhere, or get a crossover that you can cross over high enough. So let's open up the manual and let's get some specs on this. I do want to say that get this at blackdiamondaudio.us. Again, this is $59.95. This is, and we'll look at the specs here, a few things I want to bring up. The throat diameter is 2 inches. That's this part here. So if you're getting a horn, or you already have one, you need to make sure it's a bolt-on style and it's a 2-inch throw. These are 8 ohms. They're made that way so you can put multiples together, so keep that in mind. RMS power is 160 watts. Man, I've heard these, we've had them on the bench. You don't need much more than that for this to scream. In fact, if you did put more than that and you didn't have a gain down, you're just going to heat up the coil and blow it. It does peak out, and I'm not going to go with the peak rating, but the program power rating is 320 watts. I'm not going to go there. I would just stay at the RMS, and this thing screams. Sensitivity, you can see here, is 100 dB, and then pay attention to the frequency, because the next question is, which capacitor do I need? So here in the specs, I want you to pay attention to a few things. This is a 2-inch diameter here, and it is bolt-on. So if you're buying a horn or you already have them, make sure it's a bolt-on style and it's a 2-inch throw. Also, this is 8 ohm, so keep that in mind. If you just put one of these on a channel and you have a 2 ohm amp, you know, that gets the power 2 or even 4, you're only going to get a little piece of that. So you do want to put these together on the channel. I would stick with the RMS power rating, 160 watts. It does show 320 program and peak 640, but I've had these on the bench here. We have a full bench in our warehouse that we test with. 160 watts. These things were screaming, enough to just kind of give you that face. So be careful there not to overpower it. It's a small voice call. Some of y'all have taken this apart. You can actually look back in our videos. We actually, probably about 3 years ago, I actually took apart a DS18 tweeter and showed how to replace the diaphragm. Guys that are out there doing it will blow them, buy a diaphragm for 1/3 of the price and replace it. But let's pay attention here. 100 dB for sensitivity, but I want you to look at the frequency response. 630 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Okay, that means you're not really supposed to play it under 630 hertz. Okay, so we're talking about vocals. So if your amplifier has a crossover that you can set it that high, then good, and make sure it's on those channels. But if not, you need to get a bass blocker, like a 4.7 microfarad would be fine. And this will play up to 20 kilohertz. So if you're playing out your system and you're doing drivers and tweeters, make sure you set the frequency levels right so you get a full playing, you don't lose some. So they're saying high pass crossover should be done at 1 kilohertz. Okay, not really sure on that, and I'd love some feedback what you think about that. Not looking for some trolls. I'm learning just like you're learning. I would love your insight on that. Okay, voice coil on this is a 2-inch voice coil. So a lot of people get confused when they order online and it says 2-inch, and they think the tweeter's only going to be that size, but that's just the voice coil. It is a Kapton, I don't want to say that wrong, material, and it is a titanium ferrite magnet. Okay, this does weigh 34 ounces, so it's a little bit heavy. And then measurements, keep this in mind, you got to have the room. The bolt pattern is 4 inches, so that should be pretty standard, but overall diameter is 5.27, so right under 5.5 inches would be the diameter. And then the depth, and we're not including your horn, but the depth is going to be about 2.5 inches. It's 2.36 to actually mount this, so make sure you have that depth. Now when you put the horn on there, that's where the horn mounts, so got to keep that all in mind unless you're doing some fabrication. Okay, so you can find this at blackdiamondaudio.us, and we do have them right now for $59.95. All orders come with some sort of freebie. Could be hat, shirts, depending on how much you spend. When you buy directly from that website, we're going to treat you like a platinum customer. On there also, we do offer an extended warranty. It's not just a warranty, it's also accidental coverage, which means if this thing, anything happens to it, for 2 years, they'll either replace it or give you the money for it. That's through CPS. And I am Big Jeff, and I'm signing off. We'll see you next time.